Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at the next short story in the Unreal and the Real collection by Ursula K, LeGuin's, a very popular author for you folks. This is 7 pages long. It's called Small Change for you folks. 7 pages long. I read it last night. A little bit longer than a typical 7 pages for 2 minutes a page, like 14 pages. It's probably closer to 20 minutes for you folks. I just never saw what was happening with it or anything like that. It's fast, it's interesting. It's definitely a short story for you folks in this collection that we've been doing a deep dive into that I picked up because of the short story, The Ones Who Walk Away From Home, last which won a Hugo Award for you folks, and it was published a long time ago, decades ago, and I had heard that it heavily influenced a Star Trek episode that I'd never heard of before, so I wanted to read it while I got the collection. I figured I'd go ahead and, knock out the rest of these, right? And it's just 39 short stories, and I'm almost done, right? The next short story is 17 pages long. I think there are 4 short stories left in this collection, roughly, for you folks. I'll link you to it in the comments below. As a reminder, this collection is divided into 2 halves for you folks. The first half are non-sci-fi or fantasy short stories for you folks, and the second half, which is where we're at right now, are. This one is probably sci-fi or fantasy, and so forth, but there's no lines or things like that to make it seem like it's happening, although there are creatures that are dead and so forth, so it could be like an afterlife or something like that. But our main character is a niece of an aunt who has recently died for folks, and now they're talking and having conversations together and stuff like that, and so that's what's happening after death in this place and such. But there's no spaceships or colony planets or magic or anything like that. So I don't know if that this would actually be considered, in that section, or if this would be more properly in the first section. This short story collection was collated and chosen. There are a ton more short stories written by Ursula K by herself and such. So I thought it was fun. It's interesting and such, but it's not really. It doesn't have anything major to say. It's not clever. It doesn't have a twist ending, right, or anything like that. So it's just conversations with him and his family and such. And he is having, she and her family and such. And so we have this. So it's not really that deep or that interesting or has anything clever to say, like The Ones Who Walk Away From Home will last, or some other stuff in here too, right? So not really, and like I said, it was a little bit harder for me to get into, even though it was just 7 pages long. It took me a little bit longer than you would normally expect this in this oversized collection for me to take for you folks. Now, Ursula K. So I'm probably giving this more like a 6 out of 10. Ursula K. is a big name in science fiction and fantasy too. She wrote a lot of classics that are out there now, like A Left Hand of Darkness, which I've reviewed for this channel. I also read a novel for this channel called The Lathe of Heaven, which is my favorite thing I've ever read of hers. It was a novel that was on my bucket list. Love it so much. For you folks, she's also, like I said, done some stuff in fantasy too, in the Wizard of Earthsea series and RFC stuff with Ked and such, which I read when I was a kid. It's a young adult. It creates sort of the young wizard boy at school genre that other things like Harry Potter would emulate for folks. So she's definitely heavily influential for both of those genres, right? Another key thing about this, I like reading things that are older, right? And after all, the title of my channel is The Worst Thing About New Books, which is a quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert, who said that the worst thing about new books was that they kept us from reading the old ones, right? And so I definitely am passionate about reading older things. Sometimes people that are big works by names, sometimes lesser works by big names, sometimes forgotten classics or things like that, right? And so forth. And that's where the passion for this channel comes from, right? For you folks. So this is, again, the small change for you folks. It's only a 6 out of 10 for you folks. It's 7 pages long, so it won't take you that long for you to knock it out. So have you read it? If so, what did you think about it? Let's talk about in the comments below if you agree or disagree with my 7 out of 10. I'm sorry, 6 out of 10 rather. For you folks, if you enjoyed this, why not hit that subscribe button? If you're feeling frisky, hit the bell icon too, so you'll be notified when my videos post. And then finally, I just want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing in watching my video, because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.